Hold on, we gotta start that over.
I was gonna say you weren't recording.
I thought I was recording, so my bad. Let's start that over. Well,
Well, maybe it was because it says a minute and 4 seconds recording started by,
no, that's
or
something else.
maybe a minute
That's
and
saying
oh, okay, that's when you started
yeah,
recording.
just
Oh, okay,
started. So
okay.
this one is trivia. This one was interesting because I felt like Shane and Davon should have target Adam and Steve in this particular form instead of targeting Melissa and Mel, which I thought was stupid. But Shane, again, before we got recorded, you did mention that that Shane got his math wrong, which he should have figured Adam and Steve is a bigger threat because at this point we already know who was the biggest threat, and it was Adam and Steve because they were going pound for pound all game. So that might have slipped his mind since they've been going nonstop all day. So what was your thoughts on that?
I think it was honestly, to me, whatever, the sabotage is sabotage. It is what it is. But it's the theatrics. It's the extra. It's the pounding on the back of the glass. It's the, trying to make sure that every inch of that cup is in his bowl, in her bowl, their bowl, whatever bowl. So I think that's what really pissed off Nicole and Melissa. And honestly, if he had just been like, I think you guys are in second place and just dumped it, and they were like, we're not in second place, we're in third, um, then maybe it would have been different. But he decided to be extra. He decided to be, Shady Shane, and really messed up his own deal. And you could see Davon was like, what are you doing?
Right, and she was like, "It's not me." She said, "It's not me. I didn't tell him to do that." So I was funny. It was funny how they were doing it, but in the end, we knew who was first and second, and Frank and Sam and Nicole and Mel were third and fourth, so they were fighting for that third and fourth spot. But they came close as we move forward. This one was pretty interesting trivia. I don't know if you wanted to cover anything else regarding the trivia before we get to high tide.
No, well, I mean, we can talk about the drinking portion of it, which, let's be honest, watching them drink it and then puke it up is just absolutely disgusting.
Right, and then Adam and Steve won this round. What's the name? Steve, not Steve. Shane and Davon came in second, and then I believe Frank and Sam third, and Nicole and Mel last. So
Well, that
this
was
was
because Nicole threw up in the bowl.
right. So
So,
I wouldn't have been drinking nobody throw up. I would have ended up throwing it up as well. So I said, you got to drink that, dog. You got to drink that. I ain't trying to drink up your little throw up stuff.
I was like,
So
you put the throw up in there, so
so
that's
you got
officially your drink
your
now.
throw up. Yeah, you drinking that. I ain't touching it. I'm telling TJ, I ain't touching that. She got to drink the rest of it. I ain't playing. I don't care if we get DQ'd or not. I'm not drinking nobody else throw up. I'm sorry. I'd rather not.
So gross.
It really is. So, with that said, next round was high tide. This was actually interesting. It was like canoeing, but they had these little bowl type things that they had to float in to sail themselves across the water. What was your thought on that before I give the breakdown? Who came in first, second, and third and stuff?
I mean, that was just a simple, just physical effort of just having to row. Um, and honestly, that's just based on experience. How many people really, I mean, if I was doing it, I don't think I would do well in it because I've never rowed before. Oh, and you could tell that people like Devon never done that before. I mean,
Right,
she openly stated herself that she doesn't do that, so she has no idea what she's going on with there. But it's just,
right,
I don't blame people for not being able to do it. Plus, those boats are not, they the way they did it, they made it the hardest way possible because
yeah,
it's not like they were in canoes.
right,
I think they just had those wicker baskets left over from 40, and they were like,
mhm,
let's use them again. You know,
right.
But
Right, which would make me scared because I'd be like, "You got life jacket out there where selling across this water?" Because I ain't do it. Even when I canoed, I had a life jacket on. It would have been weird trying to go across the water without no life jacket. Because I'm
they
like,
had life jackets on, didn't they?
yeah, I believe so. So that's good that they
I was like,
did.
I don't think that they would have put them on there without life jackets. They don't
Right,
do that.
you can't because you know you're gonna float to the top if you go in the water. So
Well, it's safety first.
yeah, definitely safety first. This round was interesting. Frank and Sam came in first. Adam and Steve second. Nicole and Mel and Shane and Davon actually came in last on this particular thing. And this honestly was the pivot point for Shane and Davon, which got them to kind of tie up with Adam and Steve. Because in Shoulder to Load was the next um, format we were facing with. And this one was actually interesting. This was actually the make or break between what place you gonna come in because you had like a four-way tie between Frank and Sam, Adam is not Frank and Sam. I'm sorry, Shane and Davine, Adam and Steve, and Frank and Sam. They were in a three-way tie. Uh, what's the name? Sam ended up hurting her knee. Um, Frank, he was too harsh on her, I believe. Even though he had a lot of money on the line, but he could have been a lot more understanding. Even though it's $300,000 on the line, he kind of overreacted, in my opinion. He could have acted a little better. But I got to give it to Sam. She didn't fold or break during that time. But you saw the frustration she was going through and the frustration he went through. I thought it was a sad moment, and I felt like Frank could have handled that a little bit better. Even though you had odds going against you, you still had odds going against you, and the way you honestly treated Sam was unacceptable in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Becky could have a different outlook on what transpired in this particular challenge.
Listen, I get it. Your knee hurts. I understand it. And I've been in life where I have been in so much gargantuan amounts of pain. But the thing is not to stop moving. The minute you stop moving, your entire body locks up. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I think I've discussed this before. So my joints are jacked. I mean, I have two hip replacements and I'm 40. So there was a point in life where I couldn't stand up straight because my hip hurt so bad. It was just unbelievable. I had absolutely no cartilage in my left hip and like a minuscule amount of cartilage in my right. So it is extraordinarily painful. And I learned in that time period that the only way to loosen that up is just to push through it. And so I get where Frank's coming from. He wasn't asking her to carry anything. He wasn't asking her to, you know, run across. He was asking her to power walk. Let's be honest, they weren't running. They weren't even jogging. They were power walking to the other side. And I honestly think that if she had just, because she gave up, and I think she's been giving up for most of this physicality stuff. The only thing she didn't give up on was the boating, which she didn't have to really do much but use her arms.
I wouldn't say give up because I've had that knee injury before, especially when I was working at Amazon. I know what it feels. I wanted to give up my route a few times because that's how bad my knee was hurting. And but I pushed through it, powered through it. But in those situations when you dealing with a limb like that, it's kind of hard to focus on a challenge like that when you're going through that much pain and you have that
Listen,
much.
I get it. Again, it's I get having a knee issue or knee pain, or knee strain. But at the end of the day, I have had probably 10 times the amount of pain in my hips and in my knee because I actually have arthritis in both of my knees as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm fucked up. I've got issues.
Mm,
I got issues that need a lot of medical attention.
mm,
So, and this is all stemming from a chronic health condition. I can't control that, unfortunately. I wish I could. My
right.
body rebelled against me. So I look at this as someone who has and who is someone who has physical limitations. And if I was in a situation like that, and I have been where I literally had to walk 3 miles with my hip locked up, where I had to walk like a grandma. Like I could
Mm,
not stand upright. I was walking like halvesies, and that's the only thing I could do to get by. I
mm,
was in so much pain. I was by the time I got to the car, I was sobbing. I was ready to end it all. I was in so much pain.
mm,
As much pain as she, and the thing is I couldn't do anything else. People are like, "Do you want me to try and find someone?" I was like, "No, nobody's going to be able to help me. It's literally pain I have to deal with." You know, and it's just I have to keep moving. And that's what I did, slow and steady. I made it. And the thing
mm,
is she kept stopping. She kept falling and flopping. And I get the frustration of somebody. Now, mind you, Frank is also somebody that doesn't have physical limitations. So for him, it's very frustrating because, and that's some of the things that I learned in my life, because my physical limitations irritate other people because they see me, they're like, oh, you're fine. They don't realize how much pain I'm in on a daily basis.
mhm.
I deal with a lot of pain. I can
Right.
barely type at this point because my hand is so inflamed.
Mm,
So I get the physical limitations of somebody who has illnesses and injuries and pain. And the only thing you can do is push through it.
right.
So that's what I say in this case. I understand where Sam's coming from because I have wanted to give up. I've had wanted to throw in the towel and say, fuck this, it's not worth it. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do? You're already there, you're already in it. Push through the pain. You'll feel happy with yourself afterwards because you're like, at least I didn't stop moving. Even if we didn't win. And they were close. They literally need like a one bucket. And she was too busy complaining.
Yeah.
I saw their bucket. It was literally all they needed to do was that,
Right.
and
And
that was
that
it.
yeah, and that really cost them because this round they came in last because they DQ'd
They did
with
cute. They didn't get
yeah
any
they
stars at all.
DQ'd with Mel and Nicole. So we already know this was actually a turning point for this challenge, and I saw it. This is where it stood at this point. First place was Shayna Davine and Adam and Steve. They both had 20 stars. Third and fourth place, Nicole and Mel had 12 stars. Shane and Sam had 14 stars. So we can all
Frank,
say, huh?
you said Shane
No,
and Sam.
I said Frank and Sam.
No, you
Frank and
didn't.
Sam. Yeah,
No,
I
you
said
didn't.
Frank.
Now you said Frank and Sam.
No,
So
I said
rewind
Frank and
it.
Sam. I said
No, you
Shane and
didn't.
Davon and Steve and Adam. I'll rewind the tape later. Uh Davon
Want to bet
and
money?
Shane and Adam and Steve, they are tied for first with 20 stars. So this last challenge going into with the balancing beam, this was between technically well it was between Shane and Davon and Adam and Steve. They were the pound for pound going for it all, while Frank and Sam and Mel and Nicole were going for third and fourth. This one was actually a closer than um, you think. I mean, they came down to the last second, and I don't know what they based this off of. If it was speed or whatever it is, because they ended up in it at the same time, and as they were showing it
Maybe we
on,
should talk
uh,
about, like,
what
are we still talking about the water one, or are we talking about the next one?
we on the next one.
You haven't even discussed what the next challenge was.
The balance. I said the balance. That's
Yeah,
the
but no,
last.
you
The
didn't. You
balance.
didn't say that.
I did say that. You're not listening, man. I
No,
said
you
the
didn't say
balance.
that. You didn't
Yes,
say
I
that.
did, girl. I did. You arguing with me with no reason, and girl, we on to the next one. We are talking about the balancing, the last
Boy,
challenge of the girl.
rewind the
So
tape. You
I'm gonna
just
provide the tape
skipped.
later. No, I didn't skip. But anyway, balance. This is pound for pound, going for first and second, and you got Shayna Davine and you got Adam and Steve. Third and fourth, you got Nicole and Mel and Sam and Frank fighting for those two spots. So in essence, this is a pound for pound Winner takes all. I thought this was an interesting challenge here because of the fact it was so close. Because when they were balancing each other, they end up ending at the same time. When TJ blew the horn, they both were done. I don't know what they based this off of, and we didn't know who won it until he broke down the victories at the end. What was your thoughts on these before we give the final breakdown of who won?
It was definitely a nail biter, and it could have gone either way. Again, I don't know. Like you said, we don't know what they base it off of. I had a feeling it was Adam and Steve, because I thought I saw their thing stop on that before Shane and Davon. They were calling check beforehand. Now, mind you, editing, it's a thing. I don't know for sure, but that's what it looked like to me. So I was 99% sure it was going to be Shane, not Shane, Steve and Adam that brought this one home. Although I wished it for Davon and Shane because it would be such a Cinderella story that these two people that ultimately couldn't, even at the beginning of the final, literally wanted almost nothing to do with each other to win it at the end would have been the ultimate Cinderella story. And I think
It,
they would be besties at the end of that to be like, thank you for helping me win money.
Right, and it was definitely a good race because it was really close. I mean, as he was breaking it down, we already know Nicole and Mel came in last. You know, Frank and Sam came in third. Uh, Davine and Shane came in second, and the winners of this year's All Stars is Steve and Adam. They won by 1 point. That's how close it was, and I gotta say, this was a pound for pound one of the greatest finals I've ever seen, especially this close of a victory. If it came down to a tie, I don't know what would have happened. It would have been interesting to see what would have transpired if it ended up being a tie, especially the twist at the end when TJ announced there's a twist. Hold on, we ain't finished. You have to tell us if your partner will steal the money and you had to make a choice. And then if these guys pick the wrong answer, they have to go to a one player playoff to see who wins the money, which it was interesting. What did you think about the twist?
I like the fact that it said instead of it being a situation, and mind you, I get that they in other rival seasons where this twist was involved, uh, that they did it number wise or points wise. Um, I don't know how they would have measured in these cases, because obviously there's not like running or doing that kind of stuff. So I like this format better. That if you don't want to share, then now you get to fight it out and see who wins it all, and then you can be a champ with no money,
Right,
aka Hunter.
right, right. So, but they both walked away with the money split. I gotta say, hats off to Adam and Steve. They definitely
Did you even
deserve
doubt
it.
it? Did you doubt that they
No,
would share?
no, no. I knew they were gonna share. I definitely knew they were gonna share. Because it made sense, especially the history. They had every right to somebody said, "I'm gonna take the money," But after they had talked about it and say realistically, "Hey, you're not there without your partner," so I'm glad that they were able to split the money and call it even. So hats off to those two. They played one hell of a season. Not to keep throwing somebody into the elimination because sooner or later you was sending half the house home anyway. So hats off to those two. Glad for them. And then we had the big surprise at the end with uh, Adam proposing to Avery. I thought that was unique. That was the first time we've had that on there because we've normally seen them in person where it's like, "Will you marry me?" But he did it in the confessional. What was your thoughts on the confessional proposal?
I thought it was cute because it wasn't necessarily a confessional proposal because he said, look around you. I'm going to be on a knee somewhere. And, what do you say? You want to get married? And so basically, it was a proposal, but it's kind of like the ones where people do at the games, like, and it's on
Mm-hmm.
the jumbotron. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, so and so, will you marry me? Kind of
Right.
situation.
Right.
So I think that's cute. And I remember seeing something similar, like at a Taylor Swift concert.
Mm-hmm.
And they were waiting for a specific song,
Mm-hmm.
and he literally, it says like one of her songs, uh, he got down on the ground on one knee and literally said, "Marry me, Juliet." And at the same time that Taylor was singing that, the guy got down on his knee and did it. So it's cute stuff like that. It's like, okay, you're still a creepy old man that shouldn't be in the club, but that was cute.
Yeah. It is. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The final. Thank you for following along. It should be up by the end of this weekend so you can see everything. I know I have been lagging on putting it out there on the podcast, but it's out there on YouTube. I should be posting this to YouTube tonight, and then you should be getting the audio version of it tomorrow night. So I want to thank everybody who's still listening, who's out there supporting. Thank you to all the guests that was on it. League, you more than welcome to come back whenever you are ready and feel like it. I know you out there doing your podcast thing about mental health. I got to check that out because he kind of break down what he's been going through. So go out there support Malik. He's definitely a good dude. And until next time, we will be covering season 40. We'll probably pop on here with Tina. Hopefully, I got to get in touch with her, see if we can get her on to the podcast, and then season 40, was it season 40 or season, no, it's season 41, and then we'll probably do a breakdown of season 41 soon. So thanks for listening. Peace, everybody. Hey, also listen to the challenge caucus. We definitely been having a ball over there. It's been some interesting conversations. Join us over there Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Central time, and over here in Missouri and Chicago. That's where we from, Missouri and Chicago. So, with that said, everybody, thank you and peace.